A billionaire came home late to discover his housekeeper covered in bruises and his son holding the truth. When the cruelty of the steward was finally revealed, the walls of the mansion echoed with shame, courage, and justice. What had happened in that kitchen would change everything forever. Before we begin, tell us in the comments what time it is and where you're watching from. Let's go. The kitchen remained silent, only the soft hum of the refrigerator persisted. The woman in navy uniform was bent over the wooden table, her gloved hands trembling on her knees. A swollen bruise darkened her eye, stark against her fair skin. She pressed a damp cloth against it, biting her lips to keep from crying out in pain. "Don't move," whispered a small voice. She looked up and saw the boy, the billionaire's son, standing on tiptoe, holding another cloth cooled from the freezer. His small hand applied it gently to her face with surprising tenderness. He wore an elegant suit, his tie somewhat askew, but his gaze was determined. "You don't have to," she breathed. "I want to," he replied with assurance. "You're hurt." Her breath caught. She had been a maid in this mansion for months, used to being invisible, only addressed to receive orders. Yet this child looked at her as if she mattered. His gaze burned with anger, not at her, but for her. The silence was broken by the heavy creak of a door. The boy's father, tall, silver-haired, entered the kitchen. His black suit remained impeccable despite the late hour. He froze seeing the scene, his bruised and trembling housekeeper, his son holding her face. What is this?" His voice thundered, incredulous. The boy turned around, jaw clenched. "She's hurt, father, and no one did anything." The billionaire's eyes widened. "Who did this?" The woman looked down, shaking her head. "It's nothing, sir, "Don't lie." The boy cut her off, his voice higher than ever. "It was Maurice, the steward." The father blinked. "Maurice?" The boy nodded vigorously. "She broke 2 plates by accident," he yelled. "Called her an idiot. Then he hit her, twice. I heard it, I saw her cry. My hand was shaking, but I didn't look away, and she tried to hide it." The woman's lips trembled. "Please, sir." "Don't make things worse. I need this job. I can't." The boy turned to her, his voice softening. "You don't deserve that. You were just doing your work." He pressed the cold cloth a little more firmly on her bruise. He had no right. The billionaire stepped forward, his face hardened, but confusion crossed his eyes. "Why didn't you tell me anything?" She let out a broken, bitter laugh. "Tell you, and risk being fired? Sir, I've seen what happens to employees who complain. We get replaced, we get forgotten. I have a daughter to feed, a roof to keep. I can't lose this." Her words trembled, but strength hid within them. The father looked at the woman, then at his son. For the first time he noticed the child's hands, so small but firm, defiant. His son wasn't crying for himself, he was fighting for her. "You should have told me," the billionaire murmured again, more softly, as if to himself. The housekeeper shook her head. "Men like Maurice, they think they're untouchable because they've been here longer than women like me. They think you trust him more than those who scrub your floors." The boy's jaw tightened, then he said, "Listen to me, father. I saw it. I heard it. If you let him stay after that, then what good are all your rules and all your money, if you can't even protect those who work for you?" The billionaire stared at his son, stunned. It was the first time the boy had spoken to him with such passion. His voice no longer had anything childish about it. It carried the weight of truth. The housekeeper pressed her glove against her chest, trying to calm her breathing. Shame invaded her face, not because she had broken 2 plates, but because she had accepted being treated as less than human. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "No," the boy cut her off, his voice trembling with rage and compassion. "You're not the one who should apologize, he is. He broke you, not the plates." Her eyes widened, tears springing despite her efforts to hold them back. She had endured the insults, the long hours, the aching hands, but this defense, coming from a child, pierced her heart deeper than any wound. The billionaire stood frozen, watching his son carry the housekeeper's pain as if it were his own. And in that silent kitchen, one truth became clear to all. The mansion's wealth had blinded him, but not his son's eyes. The boy looked up at his father, defiant. "You can't stay silent anymore. You can't." The billionaire swallowed hard, but before he could speak, the housekeeper resumed with a broken voice. Please, don't fire me, don't throw me out. He won't. Not this time. I won't let him. The kitchen felt suffocating, the silence heavier than stone. The billionaire's jaw tightened, but his voice was low. Tell me everything. No more secrets. The housekeeper froze, her gloved fingers twisting. She lowered her head, shame coloring her cheeks. I was serving dinner, sir. The Italian porcelain, plates that cost more than I earn in a month. My hands were tired. One slipped from me, then another, both broken. The boy looked at her, eyes burning, then turned to his father. And Maurice saw. Her chest rose quickly. He came into the kitchen screaming, his words cut like knives. Useless woman, he called me. I tried to apologize, but he didn't stop. He said I didn't deserve to be here, that I had only been hired out of pity. She touched her bruise with the cold cloth, trembling. He hit me once in the face. When I stumbled, he grabbed me and hit me again, right here, in this house. The boy's fists clenched at his sides. And I was there. I saw it. His voice broke, but his gaze didn't waver. She didn't even defend herself. She just kept saying, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. He turned to his father, eyes bright with held-back tears. That's what destroyed me. She was apologizing while he was hitting her. The billionaire's breathing became ragged, his face red with a mixture of anger and shame, and Maurice thought he could in my own house. The housekeeper whispered. He told me to say nothing. He said if I talked, you would believe him, not me, that you would throw me out without hesitation. He's been here for years. I'm just a maid. The boy's small voice cut through her fear. You're not just something, you're a person. You matter. Her eyes filled with tears, her lips trembling. It's not for you to say that, young master. It should have come from him. The billionaire turned away, pacing, his shiny shoes clicking on the tiles, rage distorting his face. Where is he now? The housekeeper swallowed hard. In his quarters. I promised him I'd keep quiet. That's why he left me alone. I didn't want trouble, please, sir. But the boy interrupted, stepping forward, chin raised. You can't keep him. If you do, then you're no better than he is. The words struck like a blade. The father froze, looking at his son as if seeing him for the first time, no longer as a child, but as someone braver than himself. A few moments later, the kitchen door creaked. Maurice, the steward, tall in his black uniform, entered casually, wiping his hands with a cloth. He froze completely seeing the scene, the housekeeper holding ice against her face, the boy glaring at him with fury, and the master of the house, whose gaze burned through him. Sir, Maurice stammered, straightening up. Enough. The billionaire cut him off, his voice trembling with rage. How did you dare? Maurice paled. It was an accident. She dropped your plates, sir. Expensive plates. And that gave you the right to raise your hand? The billionaire approached, towering over him. You raised your hand against her, in my own house. Maurice opened his mouth, but no sound came out. The boy shouted before him, I saw you, don't lie. You insulted her, you hit her, and you laughed when she cried. The housekeeper hid her face, sobbing softly. The billionaire's voice fell, calm and deadly. You have dishonored this house, you're finished. Leave tonight. Maurice stiffened, his pride surging after all these years. Sir, you believe her word rather than mine? The boy stepped forward before his father could answer. His voice broke but burned with fire. Not just her word, mine. And I don't lie. If you don't believe me, then you don't believe your own son. The words struck like thunder. Maurice staggered, his eyes going from father to child. For the first time, fear crossed his face. The billionaire stepped forward again, his voice trembling with contained fury. You raised your hand against someone under my roof. You thought her silence would protect you. But tonight, it all stops. Pack your bags and leave. If you're not gone in an hour, I'll make sure justice takes care of you. Maurice swallowed, all his resistance extinguished. He turned on his heels and stormed out, muttering under his breath, but shoulders sagging with defeat. Silence fell again, heavy, raw. The housekeeper's knees buckled, but the boy grabbed her hand. It's over, he whispered. She cried, shaking her head. I never thought anyone would ever dare defend me. Not here. The billionaire's voice softened. You should never have had to be afraid. I let you down, by letting that man believe he had more power than decency. But it's over. He paused, meeting his son's eyes. Because my boy reminded me what it means to protect those who can't defend themselves." The boy squeezed the housekeeper's hand tighter. "You don't need to thank me. You just need to know that you're safe now." The woman sobbed, pressing her hand against her chest. "God bless you both." The man felt no pride for his wealth, but for his son's courage, a child who had seen what he had ignored. And in that moment the house no longer looked like just marble and glass, but like a place where justice had finally spoken. If this story touched you, don't forget to click like and subscribe to Stories That Matter to discover more moving, intense, and surprising tales. Tell us in the comments where in the world you're watching from. We love reading your messages. See you very soon. Stay kind, stay curious, and keep following us.